Good morning everyone, and it's a lovely morning. Hope you're all well. It's lesson 6 of my cartoon drawing, and today we're going to try and draw some superheroes with some superpowers. And I've got my snooker t-shirt on today because this time last year Mr. Shaw and I were going to the snooker final in Sheffield, although Mr. Shaw pulled out at the last minute because Man City were playing at home, so I went with my brother instead. So I love snooker, missing it this year and missing you all. Be nice to see you soon. Okay, shall we get started with our superheroes? Right, let's have a look. So, we need a pencil, nice sharp pencil, got our paper, and off we go. So I've been thinking we've got superheroes all around the country at the moment, our doctors, our nurses, our carers, our delivery drivers, our shop assistants, lots of superheroes. So I thought, I wonder if we can draw any cartoon superheroes. So the first one I'm going to do is based on a balloon shape. So let's see if we can draw a big circle. And don't join the circle up. So I'm going to start here, I'm going to come round. It needs to be quite a big circle. Here we go, going round like that, round, all the way round, but when you get close, just don't join it. Just put a little shape like that that looks like the end of the balloon. Okay, so again, doesn't matter if it's a perfect circle. Mine's a little bit wobbly, but that's absolutely fine. These are cartoon drawings. Okay, so let's put some eyes in, and if you remember we did our C and our backward C, so we're going to put our eyes up here, we're going to put a C round like so, and then we're going to do a backward C round like that, and then we can put our two eyes in, one there and one over there, so it looks like he's looking in one direction. Okay, so we've got our eyes on our balloon character, and the next thing we're going to put in is a big round nose. So we're going to draw a big round nose just here like so. There he is. Now we need to put a mouth on our character, so he's going to have a big smiley mouth. We're going to come up in a curve here like this, and then down and round. Okay, he needs some teeth. Let's pop some teeth in our character. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you remember when we were doing our cartoon characters before, we put a little semicircle in for a tongue, and then you just need to shade in the mouth, leaving the teeth and the tongue showing. So there we go, we've got his mouth shaded in, and already our cartoon character is coming to life. I think we're going to call him Balloon Boy. Okay, so this is Balloon Boy. So there he is. Now we need some arms, and if you remember when we did our arms before, we just do 2 lines coming out of the side. So we're going to have him pointing. We're going to have one line going up and a thin line next to it. And then we're just going to draw a little curl round like that for his thumb. And a sausage coming out there that looks like he's pointing. And then we're going to put a little couple more sausage fingers there. And that gives the impression that our balloon boy is pointing. The second arm needs to come a little bit further down below his eye. It's going to be just to the side of his mouth, sort of in line with the pointy arm that we've just drawn. So again, we do 1, 2 thin lines, and those 1, 2, 3 sausages for his hands. So there we are, all of a sudden Balloon Boy is coming very much to life. Now we need to show that he's moving, and by moving I think Balloon Boy's a bit naughty, and I think he's to make himself move, I think he does a bit of a trump. So let's show a sort of trumpy movement from the back here of the balloon. There we are. We've got sort of 3 blasts, a bit like an arrow coming out. And then if we just draw a bit of a sort of cloud shape round the outside of our arrow. So there we have Balloon Boy flying through the air. We can, to make it look even more realistic, we could put a cloud in the bottom corner here. There's our cloud. And we could also have some buildings, so just the tops of some buildings. Like so. Just put some windows in, little lines down like this. And there we have, we'll just put a couple of lines either side that shows that Balloon Boy has done a little bit of a trump and he's flying through the air. So that's our first character, Balloon Boy. Okay, right, our second character, we get rid of our piece of paper. We're going to go for a sort of square shape on a bit of a side. So let's have a look. We've got, make it quite big in your page. So we've got a square shape. Like so. So there's our square. And we're just going to put a little bit of a lid from this corner here and a lid going up there. And then we're going to join this part to this part, but we're going to put a curved line in like so. Okay, and that gives us the impression or the shape of a wedge, a sort of wedge shape. Okay, now wedge shape, you often find cheese in a wedge shape, so I think this is going to be Mr. Cheese. Okay, so we've had Balloon Boy with his trumpet powers. This is going to be Mr. Cheese, and he's a bit smelly. So we're going to put our eyes in the middle here. We're going to do one circle, and then this eye technique is a circle just coming off the side like so. So there's our eyes, and we're going to put our eyelids straight through the middle like that. So a curve like that, and then on the line we're just going to put a little bit of shading for one eye, and then the other eye comes over here like so. So already Mr. Cheese has got his eyes there. Now we need to give him a nose. So he's going to have quite a big sticky out nose like so. There's his nose. And we're just going to come down off his nose and put a mouth in. And he's got quite a big mouth. He's going to have a big laughing mouth because Mr. Cheese is a bit smelly. So his mouth comes up, down like that, and round to about there. Okay, so there's his mouth. Now we're going to fill his mouth in. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put a line down here. He's got quite jagged teeth, so we're going to put a tooth in there. We're going to give him a tooth here, and we might have one tooth at the bottom of his mouth here. And finally, we need to put the semicircle that gives the impression of a tongue. Now, if you remember, we shade in again, leave the teeth there. Shade around the tongue, shade around the teeth, just this little bit here, and you will see Mr. Cheese, our big cheese, is coming to life. So there we go. Okay, so we've got his mouth. Now we need to give him some arms and some legs, and that will be the end of our lesson for today. So one arm, if you remember how we did a couple of small lines, narrow lines, and then sausage fingers. You can give him 4 fingers, you can give him 5 fingers. My characters that I've been learning using the Pete McKee learning videos, he always has 3 fingers, and I quite like that for a cartoon character. There we go, there's his 3 fingers. And finally, we need to give him some legs. Now the legs, you can do them straight down, but I like to do them with a little bit of a curve, and it just looks like he's bouncing a little bit, looks like he's bending. So there's our legs coming down. And finally we're going to put him some feet on. Now the feet, he starts on the edge here, do a semicircle round, long piece across there, and then curve it round to the top. So there's one foot, nice big foot for our cheese man. And then the second leg, let's just move that down a little bit. We've got our foot coming down, round, and goes up like so. So there he's got his 2 feet. We're just going to make them look like shoes. Put a couple of lines like that to make them look like laces. And finally, on cheese, you always get some little air holes and dimples. So we're just going to put some little marks like that. And there we have today's lesson. We've got our Mr. Cheese and Balloon Boy with his chumpy powers. Have a go at drawing those two for me. Please tweet me your pictures and we'll do another lesson next week. Stay safe, everyone.